everyone, John Henry here, slingshotfutures.com, and welcome to the Daily Futures Market Outlook, where we take a look at our favorite markets and formulate an attack plan for tomorrow's trading. Tomorrow, going to be the 29th of the month. We're rounding out the end of the month. Don't forget as well, just a heads up, we are going into a holiday weekend. That is definitely something that you want to kind of keep in the back of your mind, right? Whenever we have a little bit of a, an upcoming holiday, the week has been kind of slow. There's been a lot of movement kind of earlier in the week. A lot of traders might just be calling it a little bit ahead of schedule and heading off to the beach. So it's played a little bit safe, but as always, before we jump into the charts, make sure to swing it over to slingshotfutures.com, scroll down and click on the Join the Daily Outlook newsletter. That's going to let you sign your email up in our email list so that we can notify you every single time one of these videos comes out. Along with that, in the email list, we also send out all kinds of different information on stocks and cryptocurrencies and things that we're looking for that day, that week, sometimes even longer term. So it's a great newsletter to get your hands on. At the bottom of the page, we go over two different blog posts. One is done right in the morning before the live trade room opens up. That's the live trading morning prep levels. Those are the major levels of support and resistance that we post every morning. And then in the afternoon, we go over either a trade of the day from the live trade room, or we go over a market psychology on in video form, so we can learn as much as possible and just keep growing that educational purpose base for the markets. We're constantly approaching the markets as students. We're always learning something new. Now, of course, if you haven't done so already, make sure to jump on into the live trade room subscription and trial info. That'll let you sign up for a one-day trial so you can sit down with us in the live trade room, see what we're all about, hang out with us for a day, trade along with us, and see how we all kind of go together, how we fit into your trading style, and see if it's something that will complement what you're already doing or maybe what you're looking to do. You can always sit down and just ask questions, and it's just a great little resource to hang out with us for a day and see what it's all about. Of course, if you do enjoy it, you can sign up for a weekly or monthly membership for the live trade room subscription only. And if you join as a full-fledged VIP member, you get the live trade room as part of the package, so you never have to worry about paying anything ever again. Now, looking at the euro, obviously a little bit of movement today. Monster drop lower shortly after 8 o'clock, and then it quickly, well, not as quick as it fell, but it did pretty quickly take it back, all the way back up to new highs. And for the most part, we didn't really get a whole lot accomplished other than a lot of movement. Now, the daily candle, we're going to be looking at an open here and a close right around this area. So it is going to be a very big bullish candle, right? That's a big bull bar that we're dealing with on the daily. On the intraday, though, really ugly movement, and they took back quite a bit of that big rip lower. They took it all back, right back towards the highs again. So the last line of defense that the sellers really have to worry about is 14,320 to 325. If we start breaking through that with some conviction, you can see they already tried to break through it a little bit, but they haven't really done so well at the top of this wedge. We're looking more for something obvious, right? If we can start breaking away from it, then we have a good shot for one more bounce to the upside here. But at this point in time, we're just kind of getting stuck at that last line of defense at 25, and we also are getting stuck inside the wedge. So we need someone to step up to the plate. If the buyers are going to take it, then we're looking for that typical breakout pullback type move. But if they don't show up and the sellers start taking back over, that could just be an excuse for the buyers to buy cheap, get it in at a better price, and that means that 14,040, 13,911, 13,792, and 13,627 all the way down are buying opportunities for at least a small bounce to try to kick the market back up towards those highs. So plenty of opportunities on the agenda for tomorrow. It just depends on what the market wants to do. Do we want to break out higher, or do we want to pull back? I would prefer to see the pullback just so I can get some slightly better prices. Over on gold, another mostly range-bound day. Didn't really get a whole lot accomplished here either, but it is going to be mildly bullish. We have an open here and a close here. Nice bull candle, as long as you don't factor in the wick. The daily wick on this, I mean, this is just a really ugly looking daily candle. Lots of whip, lots of back and forth. The buy move that they had to kick off the morning, they gave it almost all back towards the end of the day. And now, just like the euro, we're kind of narrowing in on a little bit of a wedge here. Last line of defense for the buyers this time. Basically take the euro and flip it on its head, and that's what you're looking at on gold. The last line of defense for the buyers in this case, 48.7. If we start breaking through that, then we have a very good chance at a secondary leg down to a new low. If, however, the buyers do defend that, then we are looking for some selling opportunities, just again, like the euro. Basically take it and flip it over. At 51.9 for the sell side, 52.8 for the sell side, and 54.1 for the sell side. Plenty of selling opportunities to try to drive the market lower, and the overall trend can sometimes play a little bit of a role in this. The one big thing that we've been talking about on gold for quite a while now, several days, is that big flash crash that we had on the 26th. Notice where we found all of that resistance? Don't say I didn't warn you, right? Big rejection off of the top of that area, and we are cycling back down. And this is exactly why, even though this is a bullish trend working its way higher, I'm shifting gears very quickly to the sell side, looking at this thinking, you know what? I really don't want to be on the buy side. I would much rather be on the sell side, looking to drop this market back to new lows. But overall, that is a bigger picture look. Still looking to stick with that trend, though, and looking for that failure off of that major flash crash top. Makes a lot of sense to see the sellers want to come in at some better prices, so I'm looking at all of those for potential bounces. Over on crude oil, obviously today being inventory day had a little bit of an impact on what happened, but for the most part, pretty bullish, all things considered. Big little quick dip, big little quick, I like that. Big quick dip right before the news, and this is something that we actually did a market psychology video on before, going over slight manipulation before the numbers come out. That is exactly what happened right here. It's another great example of it. Took a quick dip down and immediately ripped right back up again, and that kind of leaves us where we are right now, in a little bit of a wedge, forming more of a flat top than anything else, but we are kind of coming down a little bit. It's so shallow of an angle that it won't even let me draw it on the drawing tool here. But we are attempting to break out through the highs. This may be the last test of these highs, given all of the failure here, here, here. We finally broken through, and they still can't get that strong bull close. That could be a big indication that we are running into some trouble up here, and we may be looking for this to reverse and start dropping back to the downside. All depends on what the sellers want to do up here, but really the big thing, if we zoom out a little bit here, this is going along with the trend. For the last several days, we've been getting a beautiful bull trend on the way up, and it doesn't really look like it should be stopping anytime soon. It's even getting slightly more aggressive. So with that aggressive tone that we have here, I don't want to buy high because it does feel and look as though it is a little bit top heavy right now, but I do definitely want to be looking to consider buying those pullbacks. First one down to 44.49. 44.29, and I would absolutely love to get 44.11, but honestly most people are probably going to be watching that 49 area. That would be that same place where that secondary push came in back to those highs. Makes a lot of sense. The larger channel is coming into play, and we are missing it so far. We have cycled off of the lows pretty nicely, but at the highs, a little bit lackluster, once again showing some signs that we may have a little bit more pullback juice in the tank. Either way though, looking to buy, just want to buy that pullback so we can get a better price. And then finally, the S&P. The S&P is just a little bit range-bound here towards the end of the day, but for the most part, pretty difficult to say it wasn't a bullish trend. For the first, several hours of the day, they really didn't accomplish a whole lot. Small little range, tried to break out of the highs, tried to break out of the lows, really didn't get much done. A failure at the lows, but then ever since that failure at the lows, since about 4:15 or so, it has not stopped going higher. Just a massive rip to the upside, back into those attempting those record territory levels. We're not quite there yet, but we aren't very far either. We have a lot of bullish momentum here, and for the most part, this looks like a big spike up. A small little pause. This could easily lead into another measured leg to the upside, and we could be battling out that weekly level sooner than later. Now, one big thing that really stands out here is the fact that we had that big drop lower. Whenever I see those big spike kind of moves, my eyes always kind of go back to them thinking, well, if that spike initiated there, it would be very interesting to see what happens if the market can come back to that area. Do the sellers want to take it again? Or are they giving up on it and we start breaking through it? Now, we have plenty of time until we start digging up into that area, but that's around 24.46 where that initial big selling move happened, and that is really what kicked off this big drop lower. So if we do come back to that area, it wouldn't be a surprise at all to see some selling interest right around these highs to see what they want to do. So be careful coming into that 24.46 to 48 area. We might find some leftover sellers that have been waiting for a while. Overall, though, definitely very, very bullish. Looking for a buying opportunity is early is honestly just a trap below this little range here, but I would love to see some deeper pullbacks just so that we're not caught buying the highs. This is a very aggressive rally to the upside though, so it wouldn't bother me at all to see some buying pressure around 24.34 or so. I forgot to mark that level. 24.34 and a quarter, 24.34 in that area is the earliest, most aggressive way in. And then if we are waiting for slightly more conservative entries, you'd have 24.27, 24.24, and then 24.20 ish in those areas. Again, with such a big rally up, a lot of these major levels in terms of pullback are more of a zone than they are a specific level. Just because there are going to be so many buyers coming in, the market's going to have to fluctuate a little bit. So 24.34, 24.27, 23, and 19 on the way down are going to be some nice areas for potential buying. Obviously, the most aggressive being 34. I would love to see 27. Might not get a chance to do that, though. Overall, though, obviously, pretty plain to see that we are looking to buy just on some pullbacks. Now, taking a look at the news for tomorrow, we don't have a ton. We actually only have one big news announcement for the U.S., and that's going to be the GDP quarter over quarter for quarter one, forecasted at 1.2%. The previous was also 1.2%, and that's it. So going from a day like today where we have all kinds of speakers hitting the microphone, of course at the worst possible time right at the stock exchange open, but everything going on to not a whole lot, and knowing that we are heading into a holiday weekend on top of it, well, there's a good chance that we might find a little bit of a slowdown tomorrow after that news comes out. So, like we always say, make a plan, trade the plan, follow those rules. You'll be A-okay. Until next time, we'll see y'all later.